Hello and welcome back to a Devon Nature Garden. Right, today I am going to be harvesting some solitary bees. And these are the cocoons from, I think they're the red mason bees. And there are various uh, houses that you can use that you can harvest from. Now, obviously, the ones with the canes are more difficult. Drilled blocks of wood like those behind me are a no-go because there's no chance of cleaning them out. Some people say, oh yeah, you've got a fine window in the spring when you can clean them out. You really haven't, because you will risk killing either the bugs or bees that haven't hatched yet. So if you imagine in the spring, you've got the tubes, which, let's say that's the hole in the block of wood. So that's the front where the bee is going in and out. So in the spring, it will then lay all its eggs, seal up each individual chamber, and then bung up with mud. The next spring, the first one leaves, the second one leaves, blah, 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 until the last one leaves. Now, the last ones are females. So, say there are 3, maybe 4 females. The first of the 4 females leaves, finds a hole in the box that's completely empty, and starts laying. So by the time the 4th one comes out, there are females from the other boxes all whizzing around. So there's no chance of actually cleaning it unless you take them down and leave them for a couple of years to make sure that they've all dispersed, and then put them back up after you've cleaned them. You cannot do it in the spring because there is no window where they all leave and go, well, we'll wait until he comes along and does his housekeeping, cleans it, and then we'll go back in. Doesn't work like that, unfortunately. There's a big crossover. So the only way, if you want to clean your houses out, really, is either, like I said in the last video, put them in a release box, leave them for a couple of years, then clean them out if they're the ones that, like a drilled block of wood, or you can get these which are harvestable. Now, there are various different types of these. There are some that are trays, which I really need to buy one, and literally they are trays of wood with grooves routed in them, and then they all stack together. And so in the autumn or winter, you can go along, take all the decks apart and clean out all the grooves, take out all the cocoons, clean it, and then in the spring, put it all back together again, back out. Or you can use these. Now, there are various different types, but this one is a plastic outer box, which I bought from CJ Wildlife, which is birdfood.co.uk. Now, these house, if you look in there, lots of different tubes. I think there's about 19 or 20 in there. But they also have this mesh on the front, which stops the birdies from getting to them. I have witnessed in the past with these specifically, great spotted woodpeckers, or you can eat buffet for them. Not the best idea. So when I build the bee wall, it will be having a nice mesh front to it that the birds cannot get to. There's plenty of other sorts of stuff around that the birds can feed, so we don't have to worry about them starving. Now, these tubes, bought the nest box, they come with tubes already, but if you wanted to make your own up and have more tubes than the 19 or 20, you can, from CJ Wildlife as well, either buy the tubes with the inserts in or buy the inserts separately. So they've got a bung on the back end, which, let me just try and show you. So in the autumn, once you're harvesting, you just pull the bung and the insert comes out, and then you peel the insert and get the cocoons out, which is what I'm going to be doing with all of these. Now, the reason for doing this, there are a lot of people that don't agree with it. There are a lot of people just just let nature be nature. But that isn't nature, really. Yes, we're providing them a home and we're helping, but we're also a mass concentration. So you have to imagine, if you've got cold in your house, your neighbour's not going to catch it. If you're in a plane with hundreds of other people, those people could possibly catch your cold. But with bees in the wild, there'll be the odd 1 or 2 holes here and there. There won't be 20 holes massed together like this. So there is a bigger concentration of things like bee mites. And some people have said, oh, you don't want to kill them because it's part of nature. I get that. And there are people high up in the bee world, shall we say, that also just use this type of house. And they're quite happy with it. I kind of agree, but I also like the idea of harvesting these and giving them a bit of a better chance. But with them being, I've done this twice before now, throughout the years when I haven't been back on the YouTube channel, and because it's only the 1 year you're keeping these up, or 1 season, shall we say, I hardly had any mites in them at all. So rather than there being hundreds and thousands of them, and I've witnessed a female bee coming out of a hole and falling to the ground, and it was just a bee-shaped ball of mites with wings, could not fly. I managed to get hold of her and a little tiny brush, tickle off a load of the mites, but she couldn't lift off the ground at all. So that is why I've decided that I am going to harvest these. There's a lot of other people that do it as well. Solitary bees in the UK group, you find that you can find on there that there are people harvesting the cocoons of the mason bees, blue and reds. They're also orange vented, I think. I'm not up to scratch with all the bees. I'm not even going to say that I'm a bee expert. I am very much learning. Leaf cutters, they haven't graced me with their presence just yet. I am buying more plants, and I'm going to be putting fresh boxes out of different designs throughout the summer to hope to encourage the leaf cutters, because I would love to see those. So yes, I'm also going to hopefully try to encourage hairy-footed flower bees, because I haven't seen any as yet, but I know there are some locally. I'm going to be doing the big cob blocks, if you like. So that'll be another video throughout the winter, because they need to really dry up before you can put them out. Right, okay, so these tubes, which there are various varieties, hopefully this works with me doing this from above. Yeah, there are various tubes out there. Oh, there you go. You see, that's just the one that I didn't want to work right. So let's see. We can. There you go. Just gently out. Now this one's lucky because it's pulled the plug out with it. So that is the tube. I have got some of the old ones that I've used before, and a couple of them have still got the little plug in the end. But as I say, there you go. That's out. So you can see that there's nothing else there. It's just a little tiny, tiny bit of mud in the end. But then these, the old ones, can be reused with the inserts. Job done, ready for next year. Except out of all those, I chose the one with the mud in the end. Right. So once you've pulled them out, you can see that there is nothing left in that one at all. It's right the way through. These, bung, disposed of. Then there is, you can see where it curls around, like, well, it is a straw. So I literally just feel, and there is, as this is the bottom end, there is a cocoon. So that should be a female. Now, there is obviously baby bee poo all over it. I am not going to go, a lot of people will completely disinfect these, wash them in water. Now, I am looking at this one, and other than the bee poo, I don't think there is anything wrong with that. So I am going to have a pot for females. Now, for a minute, these are going in these plastic boxes, but they do have lids on them, and they will be kept somewhere cool. But in the spring, or during the winter actually, I am going to make a wooden release box that will then go down on the side of my greenhouse. So that, unfortunately, is not good. There you go. That has been eaten. That looks like it's been pollen mites. Same with that one. Yeah, see, so this is what you find. So that female bee was right at that back end, and she, oh, there you go, there's one there. She probably wouldn't have made it through all of that lot. This now, if you look, looks to be a little bit smaller. So I am thinking that's one female, and that one there is now a male. So I'm going to just gently brush off the bee poo. And I'm going to put the males separate. And so this one, obviously, it was coming to the end of her days. And if you look, there was nothing else then until the end. So as that one tube, you do find this when you have the these inserts. If they're, I think it's if they're coming to the end of their life, they know they're coming to the end. So once they finish laying their last egg, even if it was here, and then like, right, we need to protect it, so we'll just block the end off. So most of the time, if you don't have anything on the end, you can pretty much presume that it's empty. Now, the good thing with these is, if you find one that is empty, that's in the house still, then you can pull the bung off and you can look down it and go, well, actually, there is nothing. So let's do another one quickly. I don't want to waffle too much. Come on, there you go. So that's another one there. So bung out. Yeah, so there's no actual predators in this, etc. So bung disposed of. Yeah, there's no parasites as such, but I would imagine that those there, that whatever that is, have been eaten. But 2 is better than none. And there you go. Right, parasites. I'm thinking, now I'm not an expert on parasites, but that does look possibly like a Houdini fly. That's their larvae there, so they would have eaten. Yeah. Now the next one, no, that one's exactly the same. But then coming up here further on, no, that one's been eaten as well. Yeah, that one's been eaten. So is that one. Oh, no, wait. No, that one looks okay. That one looks okay. At the moment, you don't know whether there's anything inside it, but so there you go. Out of those, yeah, those have all been eaten. So there is just one. But this is where some people will wash them in mildly warm water to get rid of all this. There you go. I'm just going to do that. Be very gentle. And I'm going to go with that being a male because it's about the same sort of size as the other one. So there you go. I'm going to do a few more of these and then I'll come back to you. So what I'm going to do is I've got 34 tubes here. I'm going to go through them, take them apart and do a ratio of how many have had parasitic action against how many are actual cocoons. And I will come back and see what we've got afterwards. Right, well, that was fairly interesting. So I didn't show you the fourth, me taking that one apart, but the third one, I've done a bit of a totting up. So in total, there were 216 cells that had stuff in them. Out of that, there were only 47 cocoons. The rest were failures for various reasons. So parasites, there were loads of Houdini flies, but then there were other bits and pieces. For whatever reason, those failed. So yeah, that was 169 failed cells. Now, one thing, so out of all these four, all that I have managed due to either parasites or failures for whatever reason is these. And that is it. That is it. Females, males. Well, that's it for the red masons. And I'm very pleased to say, because I didn't know I had them, but I do have some orange vented as well. So I'm chuffed with those. Now I've been told that these will probably take 2 years. So these need to be put somewhere in a box, labelled, but checked next spring, just in case. But yeah, right. So that is me doing this with the bees. And let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts on the parasites and whatever. Kind of opened my eyes a bit, because the first couple of years, obviously it was new to this garden, and the first time I harvest, I had quite a lot more cocoons and not a lot of Houdini flies. Now, it could be that all these holes here that are all full, how many Houdini flies are going to be in there? And as soon as they come out, they're already there to predate and go into the tubes and go into the cardboard tubes. So I'm seriously thinking, if I am going to be making some of these, I'm only going to use them for 1 year, take them down, put them aside, and you have to remember, if you have got orange vented, which looking at the plug, I wouldn't have said. So you don't know. So you need to keep these somewhere for 2 years, just in case. So right, I think that's enough bee waffle for me. I'm going to disappear and have my tea. And yeah, hopefully we can see some of these hatching in the spring. Right, I'm going to love you and leave you. And thank you very much for, if you've got this far, because this is probably a very long video and I've waffled lots. I shall see you at some point. Take care. See you later.